So, as promised, joining me now on the line is Jon-Christopher Bua, who's White House correspondent at Real Political News. Lots of stories to get through with Jon-Christopher Bua. Before we bring in the great man JCB, earlier on we had this story with regards to this shooting, fatal shooting at Mar-A-Lago, one of Trump's residences, of course, other than the White House. We had this press conference, Rick Bradshaw, the sheriff of Palm Beach County.
At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and two Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene.
And that individual has been named suspect as Austin Tucker Martin from North Carolina. Jon-Christopher Bua joins me now. What more do we know, Jon-Christopher?
I mean, that's all I know, except I find it the term neutralized an interesting one. They blew him to pieces. They let him have it. They shot him, and he was. And that's what you have to do. The guy was he infringed on the perimeter of the president's estate in Palm Beach, and he that's a criminal act, number one.
Yeah.
And he was out for no good. Let's face it. He didn't know where the president was. The president's been here a few blocks from me enjoying this snowmageddon that we're having, 35 million people under attack from the northeast snowstorm. But he's down in Florida having a nice time, and he got shot. And, it's not very secure, though, however, if he can just walk onto Mar-a-Lago. So they did what they had to do.
Have you ever been to Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I've been across the water, the canal from it. I've seen it.
But it's one thing that confuses me is you can have a membership for Mar-a-Lago, and I know that I think there's some sort of hundreds of people who have a membership, and it's not really published. But Donald Trump also lives there, so it's like a sort of resort/home for him.
Yes, indeed. I mean, he lives in both worlds, right. And he's got a golf course. He's got Mar-a-Lago. He lives on Mar-a-Lago. He also lives at the White House, what's left of it. I mean, he's taking apart the East Wing, and he's taking apart, putting in a ballroom. God knows who's going to pay for that. But in the meantime, we've got a huge snowstorm here. We've got that report. We've got the fact that we had this crazy call in by Trump, who is calling himself.
Well, yes. Well, we're going to get to that in a moment, because I want to play out for the benefit of listeners what exactly happened. Before we do,
please.
Can we talk Greenland? Because there's Donald Trump saying that they're all very sick, and help is on the way, dear.
Well, I lived in Manhattan most of my life. Well, until I came here with Bill Clinton, and there's only 56,000 people in Greenland. I mean, it's an enormous place, and there's 56,000 souls, and, they have full health care. They have, cradle-to-grave coverage. You don't have to pay for a doctor. They don't need our salvage, our saving hope ships that Trump has promised them, that he's got somewhere in dry dock, I guess, in Alabama. I mean, he's just doing anything to keep the focus off him and the slapping he took from the Supreme Court this week to slap down his tariffs. So he made up this big crazy thing. So he's John Barron calling C-SPAN, a very formidable and reputable news organization, and he uses the name John Barron. He's been doing this since the 80s.
Well, I want to play this. Before you get into it, let's just play. So these are clips doing the round today. An individual named John Barron, as you say, it's an alias that Donald Trump has actually used before, made this call to C-SPAN.
John in Virginia, Republican. Let's hear from you.
Well, this is John Barron, and this is the worst decision you ever have in your life, practically. Jack's going to agree with me, right? But this is a terrible decision. And you have Hakeem Jeffries, who He's a dope. And you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course these people are happy. But true Americans will not be happy. And you have the woman earlier, I assume she's a woman, she's a Democrat, but she said she's disgraced. She's devastated.
All right, John.
This.
We'll go to Chester, who's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
They cut him off. That can't be the big man himself, can it, Jon-Christopher Bua?
I love the way the host made swift depost of Trump, and it was not only was it Trump. I recognize his voice. He uses the same ridiculous words. I've known him I've known him for 60 years. I'm from New York City.
Yeah.
And this was Trump being John Barron. You know, it's interesting he named his son Barron. He must have an affinity. Maybe he likes some Barron. Anyway, it was Trump. It was definitely Trump. He sounded just like him. He said the same ridiculous things that Chuck Schumer can't have a hamburger. I mean, it's insanity, Henry. It's crazy.
Can we talk lastly? We're going to have a long address, the State of the Union, which I know can go on for sort of many hours. What are we expecting to hear from the President of the United States?
Well, this is what the president has to do, and it's on Tuesday, and he's going to get up there, if he can make it up the steps there, and he's going to come out, and he's going to talk about how great, what you're supposed to say is, the State of the Union is fine. The State of the Union is sound. You make an announcement. The State of the Union is strong. None of this is true. And his poll ratings are absolutely horrendous. And he has to come up and say this. And he has to do it with a straight face. But I don't think he knows when he's not telling the truth. I think that's the problem that we have with him, that he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. And I'm sorry to say that, and that's unfortunate. But, we have issues in our country, and we have to deal with it.
Thank you very much for your time, Jon-Christopher Bua, White House correspondent at Real Political News. Back to your calls next.